Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's the house!
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
You see that over there? The old Portland Trailblazer painting, or not really a painting, a print. Ah, there we go. That thing just goes, has a mind of its own, for God's sake. All right. I'm making a video on the Papa Rogers Koberger possible connection, using some of that stuff we were going over yesterday. I think that'll be pretty interesting. That one will be tomorrow. Yeah. Gonna do another old school type of show tonight, man. I hope it's okay. It works tonight. I mean, we'll see how it goes, I guess. But as you can see, we have only got 63 people here currently, and that's sort of what happens when you don't, you don't cover one of the cases everybody's covering. How do I get back the name? You don't. YouTube changed all the names. That's the thing. So you won't be able to do it. But anyways, I saw a interrogation video of John Getreu, I think is how they say it. And I remembered his face, and it looks like we talked about him one night back in like 2020 or 2021 even, like way back. And we didn't really go over the victims, really. It was just kind of like, hey, maybe he did some other people, and we, mapped out where he lived and stuff like that. It was a DNA solve. But now I went back in time and, kind of dug into, all the old newspaper articles and everything. And I thought that would be interesting for you guys. So while the live stream, while we're going over the cases, if you're watching and you have the means and feel like, wow, Gray does good work, and you want to support the channel, that would be fantastic. Oh my God, right out of the gate, Cheryl Moran. Wow, that equaled almost all of last night. Thank you. Cheryl's been sick. She had something that I had once a long time ago. It's not good. It's not a good thing. Doesn't feel good. It's well, I mean, everybody. Well, how many? Put a 1 in. Okay, here's the thing, everybody. There's people that have had gastroenteritis, and it feels similar to food poisoning, but it's not. It's not even the same thing at all. Okay. Gastroenteritis has a similar kind of, but food poisoning is totally different, where you feel like you're going to die, and you just, every moment, it just sucks, and it's dangerous, really, food poisoning. So I had it one time, and my famous time that I had food poisoning was when I went to Albertsons. And I guess I don't know what I was thinking, but you know how sushi or sushimi is, it's obviously prepared and stored a certain way with so it doesn't go bad or anything. Well, I went into Albertsons and just bought a regular, a fillet of salmon and chopped it up and ate it with soy sauce. And that's when I got food poisoning. That was the worst thing I've ever seen. It's hard to even explain it to people. People think they've had food poisoning when they've had gastroenteritis, which is bad. But when you have food poisoning, you know you have food poisoning. Yeah, I like sushi myself. Yeah, it's a totally different animal once you get that. Yeah, I had sushi tonight too myself, randomly. My kids brought it over. All right, anyways, let's get going on this. So John Getreu, I actually think there's more victims out there for him. That, and he had them sort of cataloged in his head, but they haven't caught on to the other ones. So let's see. I guess I should put these in order just a second. 74. Yeah. Just a second. One. And then 3. All right. So this one's one of those ones that's pretty interesting. All right, so here's how it all started. So this is back in 1963 here. All right, so check it out. Army chaplain's daughter slain. Ohio soldier held. And that's Margaret Williams right there. Germany. This is in Germany. So his dad was stationed over there. And it says the 18-year-old son of a Newark sergeant major is being held by German authorities for investigation in the strangulation of an army chaplain's daughter. No charges have been filed against John Arthur Getreu, son of Sergeant Charles J. Getreu of Newark. Army officials said the youth admitted being with the girl shortly before her body was found behind an American Youth Club last Saturday night. The girl was Margaret L. Williams, 16, daughter of Lieutenant Colonel Robert Williams of Clarksville, Tennessee. Williams is chaplain for the U.S. 8th Infantry Division. Miss Williams attended a dance at the club but failed to return home. Her body was found on a baseball diamond behind the club. Investigators said she had been sexually assaulted and strangled. German police told the Army that Getreu, during questioning by German and U.S. officials, admitted meeting Miss Williams on the street shortly after she left the club, and then they went for a walk. Here's another one from the same day. So this one says, Kreuznach, Germany. John A. Getreu, 18 years old, son of U.S. Army Sergeant, today confessed to partial guilt in the death of the base chaplain's teenage daughter, an Army spokesman said. So just kind of remember all of these cases that we're talking about. The youth is the son of Sergeant Major and Mrs. Charles J. Getreu of Newark, Ohio. The Army said Getreu. I think they pronounce it Getreu, though. So what do you guys want me to call it? Getreu was arraigned in Bad Kreuznach Court and charged with suspected homicide in the death of Margaret L. Williams, 15, whose undressed and battered body was found Saturday on the Army base field. The youth said he had had sexual intercourse with the girl, the Army spokesman said. She was the daughter of Lieutenant Colonel and Mrs. Robert W. Williams of Clarksville, Tennessee. Colonel Williams is attached to the 8th Infantry Division based here. Colonel Williams was stationed at Clarksville with the 11th Airborne Division and later with the 10th Airborne Division. So set down here, it says Getreu was arrested Saturday night after a party in the American Youth Activities Clubhouse on the base where other teenagers said he was the last person seen with the dead girl, the Army said. West German police said Miss Williams appeared to have been sexually assaulted and strangled. Hey, thanks, Lisa Valenzuela, for the coffee. At first, he denied any part in the affair, the spokesman said. But under questioning by West German and U.S. Criminal Investigation Division agents, he admitted meeting Miss Williams after she left the party, but Getreu insisted, although he had intercourse with the girl, he did not kill her, the spokesman said. I mean, come on. All right, so that was June 11th, and then down on June 23rd, the 18-year-old son of an Army sergeant major from Newark goes on trial in Germany Thursday on a charge. I mean, look how quick things used to go to trial, you guys. I mean, we're talking 2 weeks later it went to trial. And that even in the United States, things were quick like that. Thanks, Chicken Wing. The charge against John Arthur Getreu stems from the death a year ago. Oh, I guess it was a year later, sorry. Yeah, that's right. The year changed. Never mind. That's still quick, though. Like here in the United States, it's years and years and years. Getreu is the son of Sergeant Major Miss Charles Getreu. So he goes on trial. And then 7 days later, the West German court sentences the youth. A German court Monday sentenced an American teenager to a maximum of 10 years in prison on conviction of sexual assault that resulted in death. Hey, thank you, CR. The charges against John A. Getreu, 18, resulted from the death a year ago of Margaret I. Williams, 16, daughter of Lieutenant Colonel Robert Williams. Getreu, son of Sergeant Major Charles J. Getreu of Newark, may be released on parole after serving 2/3 of his sentence. And I think he served 5 years and 9 months. So that was June, and then 1 day later, let's see what this one says. Yeah, I mean, he got 10 years. Getreu admitted having sexual intercourse with a girl and choking her, but denied he had any intention of killing her. So then it got much more, he did do it. And she probably didn't want to have sex with him, and obviously killed her to do it. The prosecutor had demanded the 10-year sentence in his summation, raised the question of whether petting has become too usual among American youngsters. The defendant's brutal and mean behavior, he said, deserved no mercy, but he conceded that the girl had gone voluntarily with the defendant, arguing that Getreu had drunk heavily before the crime was committed. The defense demanded mild sentence. Defense attorney also blamed the heavy petting for knocking Getreu loose from his senses. They said petting whips a man's senses to fever pitch and requires a high degree of self-control. I mean, there's no proof that there was petting, so that's just garbage. How did they even get that in there? There's no proof of that. It's ridiculous. What's this one? Youth admits. Okay, so then we already read that one. But yeah, he did. So he served 5 years, 9 months. All right, back then. Hey, Ozzy Trisha, there you are. All right, cool. Yeah, let's see. So there's these other articles. It's weird. It's hard to kind of put it in chronological order, but now he's in the United States. His father got transferred back to California, and that's where they lived. All right. So then let's go here. Look at this. Officers hunting Los Altos woman. Leslie Perlov of Los Angeles has been missing since Tuesday, and detectives want to question a blonde man who may be connected with Miss Perlov's mysterious disappearance. Those were the indications this morning as Santa Clara County Sheriff men continued their massive search for Miss Perlov, a pretty brown-haired former Stanford University co-head who offers so look at that, a former Stanford University co-ed. That means she graduated, right? Believe may have been the victim of foul play. Captain Frank Musinick said Miss Perlov, 21, last was seen Tuesday afternoon when she left work for the day at the North County Law Library in Palo Alto. So some people actually thought Ted Bundy may have done this. I mean, look at that, in the law library. Her co-workers thought she was headed home. Then, about 10 p.m. Tuesday, officers Sam McQueen and Bob Jones found Miss Perlov's car, an orange Chevrolet Nova, on Old Page Mill Road. I guess we can see where that is. Old Page Mill, there it is, Palo Alto. So, oh yeah, that's I mean, that's still going to be like nobody, very, isolated area here. So let's say I'm going to add a folder for Leslie Perlov. And then just put a pin somewhere here. Vehicle found. And I think it just, that's all it is too. It's just like right there, and then, it's hard to say. Maybe back in 1970 something it was a longer road, but it does still exist right here. All right, her coworker thought she was headed home. Then about 10 p.m. Tuesday, officers Sam McQueen, they found her vehicle on Old Page Mill Road, just a short distance off Page Mill and near the Foothill Expressway. Okay, what's that? Foothill Expressway. Okay, so that's that road, and it comes around. So right here, so it wasn't, so it's more up there. Somewhere over here. Hey, thank you, Suzf5045. Not too terribly late today. Hi, Grand Freaks. Well, hello to yourself. Well, yes, I've been coming on earlier, and a lot of people, there weren't a lot of people here. There's not a lot of people here tonight either, because we're not covering Coburg or some other big case. Let's see. Then about 1 a.m. Wednesday, the two officers returned, and this time traced the auto to Miss Perlov. So it says, let's see, Tuesday officers Sam McQueen and Bob Jones found Miss Perlov's car, an orange Chevrolet Nova, on Old Page Mill Road, just a short distance off Page Mill Road near the Foothill Expressway. The auto was clearly visible from Page Mill what is that? Mosunic? Page Mill, what's that? I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Well, that's a person, I guess. That's a person that's doing the interview. But why does it say... God, that's Crazy. Road, short distance off Page Mill and near the Foothill Expressway. The auto was clearly visible. Then about 1 a.m. Wednesday, the two officers returned and this time traced the auto to Miss Perlov. When they contacted Miss Perlov's mother, Miss Florence Perlov, they found her greatly concerned because Leslie had done nothing like this in the past. Mosinek, that was a person. Hey, welcome, Melissa, and thank you, John. And also thank you, Melissa. Late Wednesday, Detective Sergeant Bob Malone and Howard Desart learned from a motorist that had been traveling in that general vicinity Tuesday that a blond man had been seen next to Miss Perlov's car. Mosinek said the motorist spotted the Perlov auto at about 5 p.m. Tuesday and that a beige car was parked next to it. A man with long blonde hair was seen standing between the two cars, but it is not known if anyone else was there at the time. We'd sure like to find out what that man, who that man was, Mosinek told the Times this morning. When when her vehicle was found, the blue shoes she was wearing Tuesday were found in the car. Well, they should be looking around the area. So she was barefoot unless she had a second pair in the car. The car keys are missing, as is Miss Perlov's brown purse. Miss Perlov is 5 feet 3 inches tall, has long brown hair and brown eyes, and weighs 108 pounds. When last seen Tuesday, she was clad in a complete blue outfit, short blue skirt with a blue top and blue raincoat. She is a graduate of both Awalt High School in Mountain View and Stanford University. Hey, thanks, Melissa. Appreciate it. All right. And so this is it. So I wonder if we can, I mean, that'd be crazy if you could go down to, let's see if there's a street view here and see if we can actually, oh wow, look at that. I mean, is that possible on this crazy road over here to find, let's see. I mean, there's a hill like that, right? And then sort of a scraggly tree that's probably still there at this point. Or what if we go up in the air first and then look for a hill that looks like that? It's pretty crazy how these... let me open that back up. I'm going to have to put it off to the side so I can see it. On this other screen over here. So it was off the road. Right, they said it was off the road, but not far from here. It's cool have it when you Google Earth has the 3D mode, but anyways, let's just try it from the street. Maybe we can just find a gnarly tree. I mean, that is 50 years ago. I mean, easily something could have happened to it. Let's see. I mean, a lot of these almost feels, I mean, back through there, if we could see through there, that would be pretty interesting. Hey, look at that. Aussie Trisha gifted a membership. I didn't even look on this side. Hold on. Wouldn't that be crazy? is just right up there. Wow, that kind of looks almost promising there. And these are the gnarly looking trees. Now, could that be it way back there at the top? God, that looks... I mean, that might actually be it, you guys. Here, look at this. I mean, just take a look at this. Just for the hell of it. That tree, maybe that one. I mean, that looks very, very similar. I mean, there isn't one next to it, but it could be the angle. See this one over here? What if that's at an angle from further, this is further to the left over here. I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? I mean, and it's at the top of the hill just like that. Here's what I think. If I move to the left, this direction, and if we can somehow still see that, it might end up looking kind of like that. Hey, thanks, chicken wing. Yeah, it's just, man, let me get around this corner. It probably wasn't nearly as, yeah, just could be right at the top of this. And it's like that, but the shot is, so there, somebody's filming from maybe up on a hill over here. It's interesting. It feels like it's right up here. I'm going to put a pin here. All right, so, and it's really close to where, you know, just off of that highway, and it's right there. Very cool. But I think it, like, if you rotate it around like this, it would pick up that other tree. There was another, I think that was it, or was it over? God, let me go back down here again. Yeah, it's right up the top. It looks very similar. And so that would be one of these trees. And then if you moved it around, you might be able to get a similar angle. But either way, it's in this area, right? So let's get back to... Thanks, Sandy Shirley. So Leslie Marie Perlov's body was found. So remember how she was just missing? Late this morning in heavy underbrush, a half mile from the spot her car was found. Well, that's interesting, so we might have to move it. Let's see. On Old Page Mill Road at the entrance to a quarry. Let's take a look at that. So if it's a half mile... And is this the quarry? That looks like a quarry for sure. I mean, look at that. That's 100% a quarry. And then I guess you're... Man, is it right here then? Hold on. Gotta check it again. The entrance to a quarry. That's probably the entrance right over there. See, and it's fenced off. I would bet money that that's what that was. So I'm going to move the pin down there a little bit, and it goes right into that quarry there. Man, this is old school. This is fun. Come on, you guys. Yeah, hit that like button for me. Thank you. All right. Maren would not allow. Let's see. Her body was clad in the same chick blue outfit she was wearing when she disappeared Tuesday. Her clothing was in disarray, and C.D. Marin, Sheriff Field, an enforcement officer, indicated there was the suggestion she had been sexually assaulted prior to her death. Marin would not elaborate. The cause of death was not determined at noon. Nor would Santa Clara County Sheriff officials speculate whether the apparent taking of her own life nearby by Mark Rosvold of Barron Park was linked to the death of Miss Perlov, 21, a Los Altos resident. So somebody had taken their life over there. Rosvold's body was found Wednesday. All right, Lord Webb. Rosvold's body was found Wednesday as sheriff's men search for Miss Perlov, 24, and so now we have her address, 737. Let's put it in there. 737 La Donna Avenue, Palo Alto. Man, you didn't want to live anywhere near this area during the 70s, man. It's just serial killer alley. It's crazy. So that's LaDonna. So obviously 37. Okay, there you go. So it's that house, right? This is where she lived at the time. Leslie lived 37 La Donna Avenue. Now, take a look at it. Not that where she lived in this case I don't think has significance, but it's always kind of interesting. There it is, 37, and somebody lived there, just living a normal life, and then all of a sudden some barbarian kills them. And look how close to home she was. It's pretty damn close. The name of, your walker, the fishing? Her. We believe at this time that Rosvold's taking his own life was just a coincidence. Miss Perlov's body was found by a reserve officer on the sheriff's mounted patrol. The mounted patrol, 30 men strong, had been called to search for Miss Perlov. Her body was found at about 10:50 a.m. today by one of the mounted deputies. Captain Frank Mucinek said the body was face down at the base of an oak tree. Mucinek said the grass nearby was disturbed and there was blood on her raincoat. Deputies didn't move her body until he arrived at the coroner. They didn't move her body until the arrival of the coroner, Dr. John Hauser, who was due in the afternoon. The location is a tree-studded ravine about 3/4 of a mile from the Page Mill Foothill Expressway. So I guess now we can actually measure it. Let's see what happens. All right. So we go from here, and we'll put up on the screen. You can watch it with me in anticipation. See, it says 0.1. All right. Now we're at 0.29. So it's probably further than where I just had it. Keep going around, because somebody would have driven it. Actually, I think it's going to be... Wait, excuse me, that's the wrong... You got to measure it from over here. This street right here. So from right here... Yeah. So right now we're at 0.17. And now 0.42. And so that means it's way over here. I don't even know if the That's crazy. That's 0.71 there. So maybe that road was how you get to the quarry. Like you drive up here and then cut across. But that's basically it. I mean, if we go a little bit further, that's, they said about though, right? So I guess this is more, definitely not where that is. But there's a road there that went into the quarry. But maybe back then you could get into the quarry right over here. Wait, wow, look at that. There's that tree. Man, wouldn't that be nuts if that's the... if that's it? And maybe this was how you got to the quarry up there through that gate. Alright, anyways, there you go. Had to switch over there to get that. The location is a tree-studded ravine about 3/4 of a mile from the Page Mill Road Foothill Expressway intersection. The spot is less than a mile from where Roosevelt's body was found in a quarry. Oh, wow, okay. The guy that took his life was found in a quarry just off Old Page Mill Road. The quarry is a half mile from the Page Mill Foothill intersection. Marin would not link the two deaths, nor disclaim any such link. We are concerned with all the aspects attendant to the area, and that includes Roosevelt. Ms. Perlov, an attractive brown-eyed brunette, was a graduate of both Alwalt High School and Stanford University, where she majored in history. She planned to become a lawyer. And page 2, column 1. And had been accepted by several law schools, including the University of Santa Clara. See, this is another one of those ones where you have this really bright woman, and she got taken out. She had worked as a part-time clerk at the North County Library in Palo Alto. She last been seen Tuesday afternoon when she left the library, apparently to travel homeward. Her auto was found about 10 p.m. Tuesday by patrolmen Bob Jones and Sam McQueen. It was operable, but the keys were gone. When the auto still hadn't moved by about 1 a.m. Wednesday, Mrs. Florence Perlov, Leslie's mother, was notified Wednesday morning. After daylight, the search began in earnest. Ms. Perlov was a native Illinois, but her family moved to the Mid-Peninsula about 20 years ago. All right, so you got that one. And 2/18, 2 days later, search for girl's strangler. So now they know that we know that she was strangled. Special task forces of sheriff investigators yesterday began a team effort to solve the strangulation slaying of Leslie Marie Perlov, 21, whose body was found Friday in a clump of bushes on Stanford University property off Mill Road. Wow, that's Stanford's property, huh? Investigators from the Santa Clara Sheriff's Office fanned out to look for specific leads. The coroner's office reported the girl had been strangled, but the type of garrote used was not determined. Miss Perlov was reported missing by her mother after she failed to return to her Los Altos Hills home after work at the North Santa Clara County Law Library in Palo Alto. Police sought a youthful white man with long blonde hair for questioning. Are you guys finding this interesting? Gotta get my iced tea. state help in Perlov case possible. Sheriff Captain Frank Musinek said today that Santa Clara County investigators may seek Sacramento help in analyzing evidence found at the scene where Leslie Perlov, 21, was killed. We want to get this analysis accomplished as quickly as possible. There's a good chance we may take some of the evidence to Sacramento Wednesday to be analyzed in the laboratory of the State Department of Justice. He and a special task force team worked over the holiday weekend checking out innumerable possible leads. Miss Perlov's body was found late Friday morning on the slope of a ravine about 3/4 of a mile north of the Foothill Expressway. North? I thought the Foothill Expressway was up here. How could it ever be north? I mean, maybe let's go back in time. I mean, there's looks like there's been homes there. Whoa, well, look at that. That's 1948. I mean, so that's pretty interesting, isn't it? That there was nothing here, so is that, but look how flat that is. I don't know, that doesn't look the same. That's interesting, though. At 1948, there was nothing there. I don't know why they have a 1948 satellite image, but this is 1991, which is not too long after that, and it looks like it's pretty dense, like that's been there. So, But hey guys, if you're watching out there and you want to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it. It allows us to kind of, keep covering cases like this, etc. Miss Perlov lived with their widowed mother, Florence Perlov, at 11576. Well, how come they have that other address from earlier? Miss Perlov lived with their widowed mother, Florence Perlov, at 11576. All right, 11576 Fairway Drive, Los Altos. Okay. Yes, it's not really, I don't know. I'm not going to put, it doesn't have the exact address. Miss Perlov lived with their widowed mother, Florence Perlov, at 11576 Fairway Drive. She was last seen at 3 p.m. Tuesday when she left her part-time job at the law library in the North County Courthouse. Her abandoned car was found on Old Page Mill Road near the quarry entrance. Let's see, anything to... Police have no leads. Probably don't need to read that one. And then this one is from about a month later. Update, there's little hope that the murder of Leslie Perlov, 21-year-old library clerk, will ever be solved. Her body was found sprawled beneath an oak tree on Stanford University hillside land on February 15th, 2 days after she disappeared on the way home from her job in the North County Courthouse in Palo Alto. While looking for her, searchers also discovered the body of Mark Rosvold, 24, at the entrance to a quarry a half-mile away. Rosvold, on probation from a narcotics charge, took his own life with a blast from a sawed-off shotgun found next to his body, according to the coroner's office. But Miss Perlov sent it. I mean, that's one of those things where you go, man, how could that not be connected? But they're not. But Miss Perlov, Santa Clara County Sheriff's investigators admitted they don't know. She died the day she disappeared and Roswell the day after. Roswell regularly visited his probation officer in the courthouse building where she worked, but no one had ever seen them talking together, and the deaths were apparently unconnected. Miss Perlov's clothing was in disarray, and she had been strangled with her own scarf, but she had not been sexually assaulted. Those facts seemed to separate her from the knife slangs of the other women in the area. See, like, there's all these, that area was just ridiculous. I think even Ed Kemper was, like, in the area, Probers, not Proburgers, but probers have found out, however, why she went to the scenic spot off Page Mill Road. She was in search of a locale she wanted to have painted as a present for her widowed mother. Wow, that's weird. So she was there and somebody like followed her? I mean, that's crazy. I mean, so yeah, I mean, that's what's interesting, that there was another car. That was kind of bothering me earlier. Like, then how did she get there if there was another car next to her car? But it sounds like she went there, and hell, maybe she was taking pictures or something, and then that guy, he pulls up. Links between unsolved deaths of a pair of mid-peninsula residents and Edmund Kemper, suspect in the 8 Santa Cruz area slayings, will be examined carefully by Santa Clara County Sheriff's men. Undersheriff Tom Rosa declared this morning he would like to question Kemper about both Leslie Marie Perlov and the Kenneth Allen Holden killings. Both killings remain unsolved. I definitely would like to talk to him about Perlov. In the Perlov matter, sheriff detectives have said that unless Miss Perlov went voluntarily to the death scene, a tree-studded ravine 3/4 of a mile from the Page Mill Foothill Expressway intersection, they wonder how she got there. We've wondered how the killer handled her, Rosa said. In the Holden matter, detectives have been amazed at the severity of the attack, in which Holden's right arm was severed at the shoulder. Kemper, who may be linked with 8 Santa Cruz area killings, including the mutilation of at least 5 of the 6 co-eds, stands 6'9" and weighs 278 pounds. Hey, thank you, Trey. Look at that. They're trying for a wave, everybody. Trey's going for a wave. Kemper surrendered in Pueblo, Colorado after a pair of bizarre telephone calls which involved... Yeah, so we already did a whole show on Kemper a long time ago. Yeah, there was no connection. Alright, and this is just another time where... What is this one? Slain Stanford student. What is that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's this other... This one right here, by the way, is not solved. This David Levine, I actually put his a reference to him. But isn't that crazy? This case is not solved either. This one right here. And I think that's him on the ground right there. And he was just stabbed like 12 times in the back while walking around. It's crazy. Now, 5 slayings on Stanford campus in the last 40 years. David Levine, 20, knifed to death this morning on the Stanford University campus, was the 5th person to be slain on the university-owned property in the last 40 years. The 4 other victims were Miss Allen Lampson, Miss Deanna Bond, Dr. Leslie Kulanek, and Miss Leslie Perlov. In chronological order, the slayings occurred May 30th, 1933, February 25th, 1958, February 20th, 1969, and February 14th, 1973, which is Valentine's Day, is when Leslie Perlov was killed. I bet that's not coincidental. 2 days later, her strangled body was found in a grassland off the Foothill Expressway above Old Page Mill Road. Yeah, don't forget Trey Joss's wave attempt up there, you guys. And which one was that we just did? Okay, we did that one. Killing. Yeah, we did that one. Did that one. I think there was one more. October 14th, 1974. Reward of $10,000 offered. Stanford University today offered a $10,000 reward for information that will lead to the arrest and conviction of Mrs. Arliss Perry's killer. And then down here it says the other murder victims on Stanford property whose cases are still unsolved are Levine and Miss Leslie Perlov. I wonder if Levine is also from the same killer, different style though. The body of Miss Perlov was found February 16th, 1973 on a grassy slope about a half mile in front of Old Page Mill Road near the Foothill Expressway. Her car was found at the entrance of the old quarry. She had been strangled. All right. That was October 1974. That one. Now, you saw that there was another name on that page. So here we go with, in 1974, while articles were still coming out about Leslie Perlov. Nobody? Come on, you guys. Don't let Trey's wave attempt die down. You discourage people from doing the waves. Let's go. Come on, you guys. Let's try to reach the goal tonight. We didn't reach it last night. Got absolutely smoked. So tonight it'd be great if, as a channel, we can come together and reach the goal again like we used to do. It's just much harder when we don't cover, and last night we even talked about popular cases and still didn't get there. So, we're in a bind. Thanks, Dixie Hippie. Sheriff at series of dead ends in strangling of Janet Taylor. So this is another, what's the year on this one? March 29th, 1974. Why is that one showing up in front of? It doesn't make any sense. Well, that one shouldn't be there. It should be down a few, but for some reason it's not placing itself in the correct order. All right, Janet Taylor, Chuck Taylor's. Now I'm wondering if this Chuck Taylor is related to the shoe, even though that guy was, I think older. I was trying to look that up, but it says Chuck Taylor's daughter is found slain. The body of a beautiful young woman found lying alongside Sand Hill Road between Whiskey Hill and Farm Hill Roads. But I guess we could try to find that. Whiskey Hill. Man, we had such a cool little flow going earlier, you guys, and it just disappeared. Let's see. Yeah, is that Whiskey Hill Road and Farm Hill. Yeah, I don't know. That one's tough. We'll probably have to keep looking at. Hey, thanks, Lisa Valenzuela. Whiskey Hill and Farm Hill Roads in Woodside Monday morning was identified today as that of Janet Ann Taylor of 204 Redwood Drive. La Honda, that's where it was. Yep, La Honda. So she lived right, wow, somewhere right in there. That's crazy. And this is Janet Taylor at 204 Redwood Drive. We have none, absolutely none. It says she was the daughter of Stanford University former athletic director Charles Chuck Taylor. Doesn't that seem like that's got to be connected somehow to the name Chuck Taylor, the shoes? And his wife, Mrs. Margaret Taylor. I mean, he's famous. This Chuck Taylor person's famous. They refer to him like that. We have none, absolutely none, was the comment today of the inspector, Rudy Seamson of the sheriff's office, when asked about any breaks in the case. Seamson had been handling the investigation since Miss Taylor's body was found Monday morning alongside Sand Hill Road near Searsville Lake in Woodside. All right. So she was found near Searsville Lake. Let's see where that is. Okay, now we're kind of getting, okay, I guess we're over here. So it's Searsville Lake. Alongside Sand Hill Road. Let's see where that is. Sand Hill Road. Okay. So does that kind of, oh, there it is right there. Sand Hill Road. Okay. And then there's the lake. So, you know, her body's somewhere. Let's just throw something out there for now. Janet Taylor. So it's not really that far away from, let's see how many miles that is. Yeah, it's less than 5, 4.5. A team of Sheriff Department Explorer Scouts will comb both sides of Sand Hill Road Saturday in the vicinity of Manzanita Way. Okay, let's see where that is. That'll probably tell us exactly. Manzanita Way. Okay. And then it comes out. Right. Well, it's pretty close where I had that. It's just like right around in there. That's where they're going to be searching, so obviously that's probably what that means. Yeah, let's see. Right now we're currently about $80 short of reaching the goal where I donate 5 memberships. So that's where we need to get to somehow. I mean, we don't have to get anywhere. I'm just trying to, you know, get things moving along, you know, like we used to. All right, Miss Taylor, who 2 clog-type shoes, clogs again, you guys, and the belt from the raincoat she was wearing were found Wednesday along Sand Hill Road, but her purse remains missing. So isn't that interesting? Her purse is missing, and so was Perlov's, right? She was last seen Sunday at 7:05 p.m. hitchhiking from a friend's home on the Stanford campus to her home in La Honda, according to Seamson. So she was hitchhiking. You know, it's almost like Perlov was an opportunity kill, and this one was a targeted, you know, picking up a hitchhiker. Just like, I mean, look at that. Ed Kemper killed hitchhikers, and this guy killed one at least. Seamson met Thursday with Sheriff Captain Howard Desart of the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office to compare notes on the deaths of Miss Taylor and 22-year-old Leslie Perlov, a Stanford graduate, found strangled. So they're already kind of comparing the notes. He said there are some similarities in the two cases. Both girls were strangled. Both had their shoes off when found. Both victims' purses are missing, and both had been on the Stanford campus prior to their deaths. However, Simpson said there were also dissimilarities too. Miss Taylor was found in a relatively public area, while Miss Perlov was in an isolated area. Also, the methods of strangulation were different. Miss Taylor was strangled by hand, and then Miss Perlov was strangled with a scarf, according to the Santa Clara County Coroner's report. Simpson said a man being held in connection with a Menlo Park sexual assault case earlier this week has been questioned in the Taylor case, but he's since been cleared. We really don't know who we're looking for, Simpson said. We have no motive. She apparently had no money in her purse, although you could speculate that robbery was a motive. It's a rough one. We've had a lot of telephone calls from people about 40, but nothing very helpful. Miss Taylor had been visiting her friend Deborah Adams, daughter of the former Stanford business management Dwight Adams, and had started to hitchhike home from La Honda. You notice in here tonight we have 0 non-channel members. I mean, there isn't any other type, but you can still gift memberships, you guys. So we've only got 1 gifted membership tonight, so that'd be a cool thing if you guys wanted to gift memberships to other people. But in terms of the chatters, there's 0 people with their name in white, because that just shows you that those people aren't interested in anything other than the big cases, the popular. Slain girl's daughter. So she was really pretty. I mean, that was her right there. I bet she was so nice, The body of an attractive blonde girl found strangled near Searsville Lake Monday has been identified as Janet Taylor. Identification was made late Monday night at the San Mateo County morgue by the girl's parents. A Pennsylvania creamery truck driver discovered the body at about 10:30 a.m. Monday in a ditch off of Sand Hill Road near Manzanita Way. In a ditch. Hey, thanks, Lanky Tor. Very kind. So that's probably a ditch right there, Like if that would actually go downhill, and there might even be water that goes underneath. But that's exactly, so either on this side or right there, I would think. Coroner Paul Jensen said this morning that Miss Taylor had been strangled by someone who grabbed the collar of the turtleneck sweater she was wearing and used it as a garrote, judging by marks found on her throat. Jensen said she was fully clothed in green corduroy bell-bottom pants, the gray-black turtleneck, and black raincoat. He said there were no signs of sexual attack. I mean, that's sort of interesting that both these cases do not have that. Assistant Sheriff Eugene Stewart said today Miss Taylor died sometime between 7 p.m. Sunday and 3 a.m. Monday. All right. And then we'll move on to March 27th. Sheriff pleads for clues to co-ed hitchhiker. His killer. She died of strangulation, pressure that crushed bones in her throat, probably the hyoid bone. San Mateo County Coroner Paul Jensen reported. He said the blonde young woman teletypist apparently was the victim of a killer who gave her a lift Sunday night. You know, I think I found her name in like the help wanted ads, you know. Like it says Janet Taylor and, you know, for typing, you know, come over and do some typing. And it looked like she was in there. It was pretty weird. Now, Taylor was an All-American football guard at Stanford. That's her dad. See, that's why I'm saying her dad was a football guard, but I mean, man, another Chuck Taylor? I mean, it seems like... Inspector Rudy Simpson appealed for information from anyone who might have observed Miss Taylor hitchhiking. Miss Taylor's body was discovered by a milk truck driver Monday morning in a ditch off Sand Hill Road near Searsville Lake. The lake, a favorite gathering spot for Stanford students, is west of campus and about 30 miles south of San Francisco. Hey, thanks, Mary Mellon. Hey, by the way, you know that video that I made today, that 360 degree? The first one I put out, YouTube just mangled that thing. I don't even know what it did. I tried watching it, and I was like, what the hell? But I put it out later with just sort of raw 360 degree video. And what do you think the average watch time of that is? It's a 25-minute video of an entire route, all the way from 1122 King Road all the way out to Highway 95, on a 25-minute route that puts you right on 95 at 4:46. It's about 4 minutes. 4-minute watch time. I mean, that's just garbage. I mean, why bother making them? I don't know, man. Anyways, back to this. That's just something I thought of. After her 1970 high school graduate, Miss Taylor attended Canada College in Redwood City from 71 to 73. All right. They're looking for clues. They're not really finding anything. That's 4. I mean, 4 is just terrible. It should be about 15 minimum. Nervous man sought in mystery killing. The San Mateo County Sheriff's Office was investigating a report today that a nervous man with a white auto was seen early Monday morning near where Janet Taylor's strangled body later was found. I mean, what color was that auto that was seen next to Perlov's car? Hey, thanks CRR for gifting a membership. The report said a witness encountered the man who appeared ill at ease standing beside a white 1964 Pontiac Catalina at the intersection of Sand Hill Road and Mountain Home Road across the entrance from, let's see, where is Mountain Home Road? Isn't there one down here? Okay. That's Mountain Home Road. Is it? Mountain Home Road, Mountain Home Road, Mountain Home Road. So maybe it comes out right over there. The witness asked the man if he had auto trouble, and the man responded that he did not. Then the witness drove away, somewhat puzzled by the man's behavior. Meanwhile, a massive search in the area of Searsville Lake is scheduled Saturday in hopes of obtaining more evidence. The search will be performed by Explorer Scouts. Okay, the plan is to scour both sides of the lake. Anyways, you know, they're just looking for evidence at this point. And then right here, sheriff at series of dead ends is in strangling of Janet Taylor. We have nothing, they said. Yeah, and they're just talking about the similarities between, again, the similarities between Perlov. And this one is 7 months later, so maybe this has something else. Slang creates fearful atmosphere. Her companion, Lyndon Crispin, 20, a senior who lives in College Terrace, was equally concerned. "I'm used to spending a lot of time alone on campus," Miss Crispin said. "I'm scared at the moment." Sounds just like the Idaho 4. Miss Crispin sings in the Memorial Church Choir. The 11 a.m. service Sunday was performed outside at the rear of the church, because police were still investigating inside the church. Is this for that other guy? Hold on. Shock at the crime and fears about safety. This is about murder of Arliss Perry in Stanford Memorial Church. Let's see. Who killed? I think I already looked that up. Arliss Perry was killed by Stephen Crawford, a security guard at Stanford. You know what's crazy, guys? You know what job John Getreu had? He was a security guard at Stanford. So you have another security guard at Stanford who kills another person. I mean, that's crazy. At the same, around the same time. That's insane. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Where was it? Robert Hamerton Kelly, dean of the chapel, told the congregation he wasn't going to let evil triumph. Down here it just says, earlier this year, Janet Taylor, daughter of the former Stanford athletic director, was found strangled alongside Portola Road near campus. Really? I thought, what road was that? Never heard of that one. So all of a sudden, there's a new, let's see, Portola Road? Is that what? Yeah, Portola Road. Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't found on Portola Road. It's up here. Not sure where they came up with that. Another Stanford student, Ben Tyson, 20, said today he still felt fairly safe on campus, but that girls he had talked to were worried. And this is 1975. The mystery of the murder of 2 South County young women in March of 1974 and the savage assault upon the friend of one of them the same month by an unknown assailant may be cleared up, at least in part, very soon. All have been in the unsolved category up to now. The crimes include the murder of Barbara Jean Rocky, 22, a Brigham Young University senior and daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Gene Rocky of 1140 Trinity Drive, Menlo Park, on March 11, 1974, in a canyon 20 miles southeast of Salt Lake City. The murder of her close friend, Janet Ann Taylor. I mean, isn't that ridiculous? I mean, like 2 people that knew each other at the same time both get killed. I mean, that's got to be... the daughter of former Stanford football coach and athletic director Chuck Taylor in a ditch off Sand Hill Road, Woodside, on March 24. The mutilation beating. Now, see, this is where it gets kind of weird. So it's like the mutilation beating of Miss Rocky's boyfriend. So this other lady, okay, so there's a lady named Jean Rocky who's friends with Jean Ann Taylor. Jean Rocky was killed. And then her boyfriend was, a mutilation beating of Miss Rocky's boyfriend, Peter Thompson, 23, Menlo Park, shortly after he left the home of Miss Rocky's parents, where he died March 30th. So when was she killed? This Rocky. Let's see. The murder of Barbara Jean Rocky, 22, a Brigham Young University senior and daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jean Rocky of 1140 Drive on March 11, 1974. So that means he went and he had dinner with the parents after she got killed. Thompson's face was slashed apparently with broken beer bottles found in his car. The victim told police he had no recollection of what happened, but recalled picking up a hitchhiker near the home. Wouldn't that be crazy if he picked up John Getreu as a hitchhiker and he did this to him? I mean, that would be absolutely nuts. Yeah. All right, you guys, right now we're $40 short of me being able to gift 5 memberships. I haven't been able to gift 5 in a long time. So let's see if you guys as a group can do it. It shouldn't be too hard. Shouldn't be too hard. 153 people, that's like 25 cents. All right, let's see if we can do it. All right, in the Utah murder, the Menlo Park co-ed was found nude, molested, and shot 6 times with a .357 Magnum pistol, 5 times in the back. Miss Taylor was strangled but not molested, sheriff authorities said during the investigation. Her shoes were found at intervals a great distance from the body, indicating she may have struggled or fled a pursuer. After more than a year of silence, the Salt Lake County, Utah Sheriff's Office announced Friday that it plans to proceed against a suspect in the slaying of Miss Rocky. But sheriff's officers were careful not to name the man, saying that it may bring prejudicial publicity. The murder suspect, so who did kill? Now I want to know that. Who killed Gene? Who killed Gene Rocky? Based on the provided search results, Gerald Hickler was the individual who killed Barbara Jean Rocky. The victim, Barbara Jean Rocky, 21-year-old Brigham Young University student from Menlo Park, California. The crime, she was found dead in the Cottonwood Canyon near Salt Lake City, Utah on March 12, 1974, with multiple gunshot wounds. Her clothes were found nearby, folded and neatly piled. We've had cases like that. The killer, Gerald Walter Hickler, a fellow BYU student who knew Rocky. The case remained cold for decades until 2007, when a DNA sample found in soil at the crime scene, that is incredible, was matched to Hickler, who was living in Tacoma, Washington at the time. Hicker, I mean. So Hicker confessed in 2009 to shooting Rocky. According to the Salt Lake Tribune, he claimed he shot her after she rejected his sexual advances. Probably something that Elliot Rodger would do. That's weird. You know, it's cool how you can just find something really quick. That case is this one. That's her. But she was friends with Janet Taylor. Isn't that crazy? I mean, and then her boyfriend got beaten. That's the guy right there. Man, this guy, incel at birth. That guy, whew, he had no chance. All right. So there's that one. And then 1978. Yeah, it seems like anytime I say something like that, Alley Cake, like, hey, everybody, if we can... These days, it doesn't lead to anything. My words don't matter anymore. But if you'd like to help support the channel, that'd be great. Thanks. Eight campus murder. So there's that one. Oh, who's this guy? Theodore Streleski. Is he somebody? Hold on. Never heard of this guy. Is he a killer? Was an American former graduate student in mathematics at Stanford University who murdered his former faculty advisor. Okay. So that's what he did. Professor Carol DeLu was the 8th victim of a murder committed. Why did he do that, though? I mean, this is weird. So here's that story. What happened here was an American former graduate student in mathematics at Stanford University who murdered his former faculty advisor, Professor Carol Dlive, with a ball-peen hammer on August 18, 1978. Shortly after the murder, Streletsky turned himself into the authorities, claiming he felt the murder was justifiable homicide because Dlive had withheld departmental awards from him, demeaned Streletsky in front of his peers, and refused his request for financial support. Streletsky was in his 19th year pursuing his doctorate in mathematics department, alternating with low-paying jobs to support himself. During his trial, what happened? Streletsky was eligible for parole on 3 occasions, but turned it down as the conditions of his parole required him to stay away from Stanford campus and to get psychiatric treatment. Upon his release in 1985, he said, "I have no intention of killing again. On the other hand, I cannot predict the future." Jesus, what a crazy... Wow. I like finding out the answer to the side stories that pop up, you know. So let's try one more time here, you guys. So, you know, obviously on my show I try to raise funds from the people that are watching to support the channel, and allows us at the end of the month to support various charities that we do. And we're currently right as we speak, $38 short of reaching a goal where I'll donate 5 memberships myself. So if you guys are out there and you feel like supporting a worthy channel, unlike so many others out there, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Right, so this is an article just about other victims. Yeah, we already looked up Arliss Perry. All right. So then there was that. And then let me just go through these other. So then I have another folder out here. Look at this. I think this is him. So alert guard foils arson. A private guard. So he was a security guard on campus. But then it says, and look at John A. Getreu. I think that's his. Let's see. Yeah, he's John Arthur Getreu. So this has got to be him. I mean, how many people even have that name? A guard employed by the California, also in California, Plant Protection Service, Palo Alto, same area, told McKendry he drove into the lot of the Shimalex Corporation at 827 2nd Avenue at 10 p.m. and noticed an open door with 3 boys about the age of 13 standing nearby. The boys ran off. See what I tell you when I say, hey, you guys? It just... McKendry said that Getreu summoned him after discovering that contents of a gallon can of kerosene had been poured on a pile of paper in the computer tape manufacturing area of the plant, and then had been trailed to the door where the boys were spotted. Several wooden matches were found. You know, so anyways, in this case, the timely arrival of Getreu undoubtedly prevented a fire, which could have been a major proportions, I guess. But anyways, there you go. So, I mean, he actually showed up in the paper for doing something positive. And then 2003, this is, I think, related to him too. Getreu, Linda Ann, that's his first wife, or second wife there. Entered into rest Saturday, September 13th. Beloved wife of 25 years of John Getreu of Newark. Devoted mother of Aaron Sean Getreu, etc. This is in Oakland, same general area there, California. Yeah, but thanks, 60 Hippie. Man, let's just try to get to the goal for once in 3 days, you guys. And I think that's the same. Like, that's his second wife. And then we go all the way to 2018, and look at this. Cold case murder solved with database. Northern California authorities said Wednesday that they have cracked a 45-year-old murder case using the same publicly available DNA database that led to the arrest of alleged serial killer Joseph D'Angelo. Well, he's not alleged anymore. And that's Gedmatch. Officers arrested John Arthur Getreu, 74, on suspicion of killing a 21-year-old Palo Alto woman in 1973, the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Department spokesman Richard Glennon said. Investigators were led to Getreu after recently submitting DNA evidence to the Virginia-based DNA technology company Parabon Nanolabs, which uses the public genealogical database GEDmatch, there it is, Gedmatch, I just said that, to generate a number of family trees connected to the sample. Thank you, Melissa. Police arrested Getreu on Tuesday at his Hayward, California home. He is suspected of killing Leslie Marie Perlov in February of 1973. Perlov's body was found under an oak tree near Stanford University, and her pantyhose were stuffed in her mouth. See, this is stuff we didn't even know. So that's Perlov. That was the first one. Her body was found under an oak tree near Stanford University. She's the one that was near the quarry. And her pantyhose were stuffed in her mouth. She had been strangled, and the case went unsolved for decades. Investigators, taking another look at the case in July, found an unknown man's DNA among the evidence. They sent the DNA sample and returned with several possible families to investigate, which ultimately led them to Getreu. Pretty cool, huh? And then 2019. So these are the two victims. Man charged in 2 deaths may be linked to morgue. I guess we need to go to B1. All right. A former Stanford University worker, see, he worked there as a security guard, I think, was charged Thursday in the decades-old slaying of the daughter of the school's former athletic director, marking the third time the man has been linked to the death as cold case investigators continue to search for more victims. John Arthur Getreu was tied to the 1974 strangulation of Janet Ann Taylor, 21, after detectives matched DNA evidence gathered from the victim's clothes to the 74-year-old carpenter who last lived in Hayward, according to the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. Late last year, Getreu was charged in the slaying of Leslie Marie Perlov, a 21-year-old woman whose body was discovered near the Stanford campus in 1973, officials said. He was also convicted of the sexual assault and murder of a young woman in Germany in 1960s, investigators said. Detectives fear Getreu may have been responsible for additional slayings. Both Taylor and Perlov were strangled in killings that were sexually motivated, according to investigators who plan to search for similar cases in the Bay Area and anywhere else Getreu had resided, including Ohio. Realistically, you look at a guy who has now been connected to 3 sexual motivated murders. Now that covers his ages 18 to almost 30. There are still prime years for someone who has such an impulse. Right, that's what we always say, just like that. A driven ability to commit these kind of violent crimes, said Rick Jackson, a retired Los Angeles Police Department homicide detective who now serves as a cold case investigator with the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. We're looking, obviously, without our county, he said, within our county, he said, We're reaching out to other agencies across the country and other areas in the world. Man, wouldn't it be great if my pleas for support actually landed on ears? It's just crazy. I don't understand anymore. Let's see. So now we're over here. Getreu first came to the attention of law enforcement in 2017 when the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office reopened its investigation into Perlov's death. Detectives were able to connect Getreu to that killing after cold case investigators using DNA genealogical techniques similar to those used in the Golden State Killer case connected him to evidence at the crime scene. He was charged with her murder in November of 2018. Taylor was hitchhiking from a friend's house in Palo Alto to her home in nearby La Honda when she vanished on March 24, 1974. A delivery driver who was making his way along Sand Hill Road west of Interstate 280 discovered the body of the young woman's body on the side of the highway. Investigators were quick to notice similarities between Taylor and Perlov's killings. The suspects were very similar, and both victims were last seen leaving the Stanford campus area. San Mateo County Assistant Sheriff Gregory P. Rothus said during a news conference Thursday. Perlov disappeared months before Taylor died. She was last seen leaving her job as a clerk at a law library in Palo Alto. Her orange Chevrolet Nova was found abandoned in an old quarry. A few days later, her body was found under an oak tree. She had also been strangled. Detectives working with DNA technicians recovered genetic evidence from an unknown man last summer. Investigators sent the genealogical material to the county crime lab and Parabon Nanolabs, a Virginia medical lab that has recently identified suspects in several cold case killings. A genetic profile was created beyond those typically used for DNA matches in criminal databases, and the information was submitted to a genealogy database, officials said. A family tree was generated. Yep. Getreu was already in custody after being arrested in Perlov's death, but was held on $10 million bail. Getreu, a laborer and carpenter who had previously worked in Redwood City and Palo Alto, told police he was working as a medical tech in Stanford University heart transplant unit at the time of the woman's death. No way. He has a lengthy, violent criminal record that stretches overseas. Growing up in military... Yeah, he actually has an assault on somebody, too. In 1975, Getreu was convicted of statutory... Yeah, there it is. The rape in Santa Clara County and sentenced to 6 months in prison. On Thursday, Taylor's family expressed their gratitude over the arrest of a suspect and regret over the life she never got to live. Janet lived life with an enthusiasm and courage. As a spunky, fun, loving youngest of 3 children, she added much laughter and joy to her family. She loved animals and cherished her friends. We have missed being able to have her in our lives. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Michelle H. That looks like right where we had it. So they're talking about those cases again. And that's what he looked like back then. A 74-year-old Newark native who has been charged in 1970s cold case murders of Stanford University graduate. Let's see. Scout troop. Yeah, he was a... we'll see. It says Janet Ann Taylor, both 21, has been a Boy Scout troop leader. Jesus. the exalted ruler of the Fremont, California Elks Lodge, a businessman, father, grandfather, and husband. Some who have known John Arthur Getreu have seen a seemingly normal person, a kindly man who left presents for neighbor kids at Christmas, a medical technician who worked for Stanford and Mills Hospital, a carpenter who loved woodworking. For at least 4 years, from 1971 to 75, Getreu lived in the Midtown neighborhood of Palo Alto, California. But others have harbored deep suspicions that Getreu, who now sits in a cell in the Santa Clara County main jail in California, was a violent predator who could be getting away with murder and sexual assault. There was the brother of the teenage girl whom Getreu, then 18, assaulted and murdered in Germany in 1963. The brother? There was the brother of the... I don't get it. There was the... A6. I don't think I'm going to read this whole thing. Palo Alto teenager from Getreu was convicted of sexual assault in 1975, and then there was the sister of Leslie Perlov, who, even as the murder remained unsolved for more than 4 decades, always suspected her sister had been the victim of a serial killer. Evan Williams, now a pastor at the Sunnyland Christian Church in Washington, Illinois, was 7.5 years old when Getreu assaulted and murdered his middle sister Margaret after a dance at the church chapel in Bad Kreuznach, Germany. Margaret, 15, was a freshman at the American high school over there, the daughter of U.S. Army chaplain. On June 8, 1963, Margaret attended the evening dance and later left for a walk where she encountered Getreu on the street. She was found strangled and sexually assaulted in a field behind the chapel early the next morning. Williams said Getreu was almost immediately identified as a suspect and an arrest soon followed. In court, Getreu claimed she went with him willingly, but he admitted to the crime. I assaulted her, but it did not occur to me that I could have killed her. I just wanted to knock her out, he testified, according to a 1964 article in the Newark Advocate. Getreu was sentenced in juvenile court to 10 years in German prison. It is unclear how many years of that sentence he served. I think it was 5 years, 9 months. Margaret's homicide affected her brother profoundly. Now 63, Williams said that fears about Getreu have haunted him. I always had this feeling I might be made aware of him committing crimes later in life. Williams' fears resurfaced when the FBI renewed its efforts 3 years ago to catch the so-called Golden State Killer, a man who had murdered at least 13 people and sexually assaulted more than 50. Let's see. What about this one? As news of Getreu's arrest last November and again in May for the murder of Perlov and Taylor has spread, some people who knew him in daily life said they are shocked. Getreu was born and lived in Newark, Ohio until he was 4 years old. His military family visited Newark throughout his youth, according to news reports in the 1960s. He and his second wife moved there in the late 70s or early 1980s. J. Matthew, 48, of Newark, Ohio, recalled knowing Getreu and his second wife when they moved to his neighborhood. His first wife divorced him after that one sexual assault that he had. I'm not sure if the second wife even knew that. Let's see. Anyways, I'm not going to go through all this. Alright, so we still need another like $20 to get to the goal tonight, you guys. Can all the freaks make that happen? So this is another one of those nights that if we didn't have you know, Cheryl Moran, we wouldn't even be close. I mean, we'd be at 40% yet again. So I'm trying to figure out where, you know, where are the people, where did they go? The ones that would keep us, you know, it's really been a struggle lately, you guys. All right. Yeah, so that's kind of basically going to be the same thing. And then now 2021, there's a trial. So this is where it's, all right, so let's look at this other thing first. Okay, so there's on a YouTube channel called EWU Crime Storytime. You know, so EWU Crime Storytime. I have the link in the sources underneath the video. You guys can check out, you know, his analysis and everything like that. I just took out some of the portions that I thought would be interesting, but it's a interrogation video. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. I mean, see how just whenever I say that, alley cake, it just dead as a doornail. I mean, just it's wild. Never used to be like that. All right. That's not what I was looking for.
Car.
Which one?
That
Expected turn.
hit your car.
Which one?
The one parked in the driveway. Do you want to maybe take a look to see if we should exchange insurance information?
Take a peek.
So you kind of tricked him. This detective walked up and said, "Yeah, I hit your car." Or let's just do this.
I was turning around in your driveway and I accidentally hit your car.
Which one?
The one parked in the driveway. Do you want to maybe take a look to see if we should exchange insurance information?
Take a peek.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. So embarrassing.
She's a pretty good actress.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hands behind your back. Face the car. Go ahead and face the car.
All right, what's this?
We'll talk to you in a minute. Anybody else in the house?
No, my wife's at work. Good line for coming out of the house.
Thanks,
Get that
Lisa.
guy out of the house.
Before I let you know what's going on, I just want to get your personal information. Just confirm your name. Your full name is John Arthur
Getreu.
Getreu?
Getreu.
Yeah, get through.
Were you ever in the military?
No.
No. Have you ever been arrested in the
Hey,
past?
listen to this guy. I mean, this is it's actually kind of funny how stupid this guy is. Hey, thanks, Lisa. Appreciate it.
No.
Now, you mentioned that you had never been arrested. And I found out something happened in Germany.
Okay.
Can you tell me about
I
that?
was arrested in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, so you forgot to mention that. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, that's right. I was arrested in Germany."
Okay, what happened with that? Can you tell me about that?
I was accused of murder.
Tell me
Accused? You admitted it. I mean, you
about what happened. What was the accusation against you?
I killed a chaplain's daughter.
Okay.
And that was all I knew.
Okay. Do you remember what happened?
No.
With this young female?
No.
No?
I didn't
maybe it's called Explore with Us or something.
even know her.
You didn't even know her? Why did they arrest you? I mean,
You didn't even know her. Huh?
Probably the next day
Okay.
after they found the body, I guess.
Okay. How did they tie you to this body? How did they connect you to this body?
Somebody had seen me, walk that direction or
Did it quit playing or what happened right there? I don't know what just happened. It just stop. Error retrieving something. All right, maybe it will work over here. Let's see.
Oh man, I'm so
True. Arrested in Germany.
Okay, what happened with that? Can you tell me about that?
I was accused of murder.
Tell me about what happened. What was the accusation against you?
I killed a chaplain's, or not a chaplain, yeah, a chaplain's daughter.
Okay.
And that was all I knew.
Okay. Do you remember what happened?
No.
With this young female?
No.
No?
I didn't even know her.
You didn't even know her? Why did they arrest you? I mean, if...
Probably the next day.
Okay.
After they found the body, I guess.
Okay. How did they tie you to this body? How did they connect you to this body?
Somebody had seen me, walk that direction or walk towards a school, or
Okay.
it was an elementary school.
Okay. Did you... I mean, I don't know the details of what
I
happened.
don't know the details either, so
Okay. Did you actually meet this young lady?
that's what they say.
And so you spent actually 6 years in prison? over
Something
it?
like that.
Wow. And then how...
Yeah, 5 years, 9 months. Oh yeah, close to 6 years he spent because of that.
after you were released, what happened?
I just was dropped off at McGuire Air Force Base, and my father picked me up, and that was it.
That was it? You came back to the
Never
United
heard
States?
a word from him. Nothing.
Okay.
After returning to the United States, John moved to California and
So that's the host, his voice.
There was another accusation again. And
was once again at the center of a serious crime.
then at some point, there was another accusation against you about a sexual assault from the Palo Alto Police Department?
Palo Alto Police Department.
Okay.
That's when I was the leader of an Explorer post.
Okay. Can you tell me about what happened there?
Nothing.
Okay.
I
It's
was
just
accused, interviewed, and that was it.
Okay. What's this allegation? I got to ask you.
Yeah.
This allegation that this young girl made against you that you sexually assaulted her. Did that actually happen?
No, not that
No, not that I was aware. I'm aware. This guy, not that I'm aware of, I mean, who the hell would answer something like that?
Not that I know of.
Did you do this? Not that I know of, What do you mean? It's just no, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. Let's listen to that again.
Happened there?
Nothing.
Okay.
I
It's
was
just
accused, interviewed, and that was it.
Okay. What's this allegation? I got to ask you.
Yeah.
This allegation that this young girl made against you that you sexually assaulted her. Did that actually happen?
No, not that not that I know of. And if I was arrested for specifically that, then not even tried, and then nothing's happened. Like I told him, nothing happened.
Yeah.
I never saw her again.
Did you end up serving time for that? Do you remember?
Not that I know.
I didn't. Wasn't sure.
I mean, you would just say no, right? Not that I know of. I got really excited when I just saw my own 5 memberships come up. I forgot that in that 2 seconds that I was the one that did it. Why don't somebody out there match that? That'd be great.
Didn't serve any time that I know of.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
It was so piddly that.
It didn't. You weren't. Didn't go to
It
trial.
was so piddly. It was so piddly. Yeah. She died and everything, but it's so piddly.
Or anything like that. Okay.
No, actually, I think he's talking about this other. Hold on a second.
Never saw her again.
Oh, that was the assault that he got charged for.
Did you end up serving time for that? Do you remember?
No, I didn't. Didn't serve any time that I know of.
Okay.
I can't.
That I know of. You can't
It was
remember?
so piddly that.
Yeah.
It didn't. You weren't. Didn't go to trial. Or
That was
anything
the
like
one.
that? Okay.
That was the one that his wife divorced him over.
So I want to tell you a little bit about my investigation. Okay. Are you familiar with the with Palo Alto area, Stanford area, the hills in Stanford?
Yeah.
You ever go out there?
I was a scout leader. I traveled all those hills.
What hills do you?
Out in the Bay, Half Moon Bay Hills,
Okay.
and I traveled up through there, hiked with the boys.
Did you ever go in the hills, like in the area around Page Mill Road? Page Mill Road, like just west of Stamford?
No.
No, you never went to that area?
No.
Okay.
What do you call that? Let's see. Oh, Page Mill Road. God, he's like Page Mill. What the hell are you talking about, dude? It's Page Mill, not... How'd that guy say that? It's ridiculous. Hold on.
And I traveled up through there, hiked with the boys.
Did you ever go in the hills, like in the area around Page Mill Road? Page Mill Road, like just
Page
west
Mill?
of Stamford?
I don't know, it doesn't work.
No.
No, you never went to that area?
No.
Okay. So I'm investigating
Yeah, watch how he just absolutely blows it in here. It's just, it's actually funny.
there's a murder up there in the hills. Would there be any reason that you were ever up in those hills? No?
No.
You ever see this young lady? You know her?
No. Who's that?
It's a young lady that an investigation I'm doing, and she was murdered. Do you ever see her at all?
No.
She look familiar? Do you remember ever stopping by the side of the road and looking into this vehicle?
No.
It's an orange Chevy Nova.
No.
Yeah.
No?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you know the name Leslie Perlov? Leslie Perlov?
No.
No? Okay. She wasn't a girlfriend of yours?
Oh, no.
Okay. I had to ask.
She's cute anyway.
Yeah, very,
That would
very
be
cute.
about, she'd be about.
Listen to how stupid this is. She's cute anyways, you know, and I mean he knows he's talking about a homicide here. Yeah, she's cute anyways, and look at these mistakes he does here. They're just almost mind-boggling.
18 years old, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
she'd be about 18 years old, I guess.
At Stanford. Yeah.
And then she talks about how this girl went to Stanford. A minute ago, he didn't even know her. Now he's like, yeah, he went to Stanford.
Stanford graduate.
And now he's saying she's a Stanford graduate, which is true. Remember that? She was a Stanford graduate. And now he's saying, oh, yeah, yeah, she's a Stanford graduate.
Yeah. But that's it. I don't even recognize her.
I don't even recognize her, but of course I knew that she was a Stanford graduate.
Why do you say she's a Stanford graduate?
Yeah.
Well, just by the way she dresses and all in
Okay.
this area.
Just the way she dresses. Okay. Nice try, though. Nice try. That was good.
You know.
Sure.
But, you know, I didn't say graduate either. I said, you know.
Yeah, now he's saying he didn't say graduate. No, you did say graduate. You definitely said graduate. Let's do that again.
I had to ask. Leslie Perlov? Leslie Perlov?
No.
No.
Now listen to what he
Okay.
says.
She wasn't a girlfriend of yours?
Oh, no.
Okay.
She's cute,
I had
though.
to ask.
She's cute anyway.
Yeah, very.
That would
very
be
cute.
about, she'd be about 18 years old, I guess.
Okay.
At Stanford. Yeah, Stanford graduate. Yeah. But that's it. I don't even recognize her.
Why do you say she's a Stanford graduate?
Well, just by the way she dresses and all in
Okay.
this area, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, no.
But, you know, I didn't say graduate either. I
No, you did say graduate. We just heard you say that.
said, you know, she's a college kid.
Oh, okay. Now this young lady was obviously
What a-
murdered, like I said. She was strangled.
Mm,
Would you ever think about doing anything like that?
nope.
I know that
Would you ever think of strangling somebody? Nope.
you were accused of a sexual
Yeah.
assault, right? Would you ever think about committing a sexual assault?
I have no reason for it.
And I'm going to ask you these tough questions
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
part of the investigation. When you were younger, did you Did you ever fantasize about, sexual assault?
It's what it sounds like by looking at my records.
Not that I'm aware of.
Or killing a young woman? Okay.
No.
In this investigation, if your DNA was on this young lady, why would you think your DNA was on her?
Haven't the slightest idea.
Were you involved in the murder of this young girl?
Not that I'm aware of.
You know about DNA on how it's transferred, right?
Yeah.
The beauty of this is, like, he is exactly what remember how I always tell you guys that these serial killers are sitting around shitting their pants just waiting for their DNA to lead to them, because none of these guys were careful back then, because there's no such thing as DNA. So there's all these 70 to 80-year-old serial killers that are just all freaking out at this point.
What this can be how it's transferred. I can always tell.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, one is semen.
How it's transferred, I can always tell. What do you mean you can? What do you mean you can always tell how it's transferred?
Okay.
One is from the mouth.
Sure.
Yeah. That's the only two that I know of.
Okay.
Now, if there's some that are bodily, other than these two transferred, then it's totally different.
Okay. And about technology now, advances in technology
is getting good.
Yeah. So
they're catching them every day.
They're catching him every day. You hear that? He's aware.
Yeah. How do you think your DNA would be on a person?
Don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Especially this person or these two persons.
What two persons?
Well, that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The two young women.
Okay.
See, let me go back here. Hold on. Okay, look at this. Watch.
Technology is getting good.
Yeah, so they're
catching them every day.
Yeah. How do you think your DNA would be on a person?
Don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Especially this person or these two persons.
What?
You notice how I said these two persons? That's crazy, because they're looking at him for Leslie Perlov currently. And then he mentions two persons. See that?
Two persons.
Well,
and he's going, what do you mean? What do you mean two persons?
That you're talking about.
Yeah.
The two young women.
Okay.
Like you're talking about these two women. No, he wasn't talking about two women. So he's got a little bit of dementia, but it's hurting. Just a slight amount. So he's forgetting what he said, but he's throwing out stuff that he didn't really want to say. Because guess what? The other person he is referring to is Janet Taylor, and this officer here didn't even know about that person or was not associating the two at the time. So then they looked into that one and then added that charge in there. So, this guy gave away that.
I showed you a picture of that one young lady.
Yeah, no.
Okay, what's the second young lady?
The one up on the one up on the hill.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two different places you're talking about.
Okay, one of them's up on the hill?
Yeah.
Well, that would be Perlov.
And then up on what hill? Well, you mentioned the hill.
And then, see, up on one hill. See, look at now. He's like,
yeah, you mentioned it.
I mentioned.
You mentioned the hill. No, you mentioned the hill. See, the thing is, he did. He mentioned it.
I mentioned the hills.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the other one? Because I don't remember another one.
Well, there's the two girls. It's not both the same place.
Okay. I mentioned one girl up on the hill.
Yeah, okay, wherever she was, wherever the second girl was.
Oh, okay.
So why her?
I don't even know who she is. If that's the first girl or the one girl that's up on the hill or whatever,
What do you mean the first girl?
Well, he said there's two people. There's two girls.
No, he never said that. No, he never said that there was two. He never once said that there was two. He brought up the two.
That's a misunderstanding. They were killed within probably an hour of each other and 2 hours of each other, or day, or who knows.
Do you remember? How do you remember those details?
Some of the questions he's asked me.
Do you remember seeing any newspaper articles or
No,
media
just-
about those?
Nobody, but that girl there is not the other one that he showed me.
Really? He didn't show you another one.
If that's the girl there with, the other picture, I doubt it.
Why's that?
I mean, look at the body.
Mm-hmm.
It could be somebody else.
What does that even mean?
I don't think they're the
What
same
is it
one.
saying?
Is that why you don't recognize her?
No,
Because that's not the girl that you
I'm
killed?
not questioning. I don't recognize her. I've never seen her.
You don't recognize.
Do you think
the
it was a different girl that you killed and that's not the one we're
I
showing
didn't
you?
kill any girl.
You didn't kill the girl in Germany?
No. Well, that's total different. That's when I was 18 years old or younger.
There's a situation in Germany
Yeah.
where a girl ends up dead and you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a situation
Here,
here,
that was
years later after you came back to the States, where a girl ends up dead and you say you weren't there, yet your DNA is there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the chances are of that happening?
No.
I don't know.
No.
What would you do if you were us and you were investigating this case? What would that look like to you?
There's a brick wall.
What do you mean there's a brick wall?
Well, I mean, you found out, you couldn't find out. So,
What do you mean I found out and I couldn't find
oh,
out?
nothing. I'm just let it go. I'm.
Well, you understand it's my job not
Yeah.
to let things like that
I'm
go,
not,
right?
I'm not I have nothing to say about it.
It's got to be quite a burden, John.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to put the questioning from here on, unless I'm represented by somebody in the courts.
What do you mean?
A lawyer.
You'd like a lawyer?
I like a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah, they just ended it right then, just like you're supposed to. Isn't that crazy? I mean, that guy. They figured out another person, and because of what he said, and it turns out it's they probably suspected maybe he was involved with Janet Taylor, but he's the one that brought that up. And what's sort of interesting about that is if he'd killed more people, how was he so certain just those two, right? Like, I mean, is there other if he killed other people, maybe there were the only two that were right then during that time. But anyways, wasn't that show super chat worthy, you guys? Something different than we've been doing. It took a long time to get all those documents. I've been working on it for a couple days now, trying to get all the different things looked up on different but let's see, what else we got here? Is it this one? I kind of want to look at the 20, this article here I wanted to do. Yeah, well, the whole thing's interesting because you had everything you already knew the cases now, and then the interrogation meant something. If you didn't know those other ones, it wouldn't mean anything, but you were already aware of Germany, Leslie Perlov, and Janet Taylor. So if you're out there and you want to help support the channel, that would be awesome. So let me go over this one. Alleged serial killer John Arthur Getreu was convicted of killing and sexually assaulting a 15-year-old girl in Germany in 1964, a decade before the strangled bodies of two young women is now accused of killing were found on Stanford University land. The brother of the murdered teenager testified on Tuesday. Evan David Williams, a pastor, said that Getreu killed his sister on June 9, 1963, when his family and Getreu's parents were stationed in U.S. Army base in Bad Kreuznach, Germany. His sister, Margaret Williams, was found on a field beaten about the face, strangled, and sexually assaulted. Williams said his father, who was an army chaplain at the time, told him that Getreu had been arrested for the crime. Getreu, 77, of Hayward, is now being tried in San Mateo County Superior Court for allegedly killing Janet Ann Taylor, 21, whose beaten face and strangled body was found in a ditch near the intersection of Sand Hill Road and Manzanita Way in 1974. Taylor was the second woman found on Stanford land within with similar injuries. Leslie Marie Perlov, 21, was found near what is now the Stanford Dish hiking area in a remote area in 1973. Getreu is facing a first-degree murder. Is now found near, let's see, Stanford Dish hiking. Let's see if, just want to see if that shows up on a map. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of near there. So no, it wasn't worthy. San Mateo County Sheriff Detective Gordon Curry testified that he obtained 10 volumes of court documents related to Getreu's 1964 conviction in Margaret Williams' murder and sexual assault. Deputy District Attorney Josh Stauffer read excerpts from the more than 1,000 pages of court documents. Getreu was 18 years old at the time of the killing, was convicted on July 13, 1964, to 10 years in prison for sexual assault with fatal consequences. He served a partial sentence of 5 years and 9 months. German officials believed he was likely to lead a righteous life, the German officials thought. Jesus. After he was sent to live with his parents in the U.S., where he returned in 1969 under probation supervision, according to German court documents. Getreu, in his own statement to German investigators, said he and Williams met at a dance. He hadn't seen the girl before, but noticed her when he exited a car. They went for a walk and talked. He said he had no special intentions. Williams told him she had to be home at a specific time, but rather than walk towards the school and her home, they headed in the opposite direction. They sat on a bench in a park and later walked to a playground. He said he wanted to be alone with her. They walked away from where people were nearby. Getreu claimed he didn't intend to have intercourse with her. He was looking for a good place where he had taken other girls before for smooching. Getreu and Williams began kissing while sitting on his jacket, and soon they were lying down. He engaged in light petting and soon began to advance to wanting intercourse. He told her that he had consumed a lot of drinks. She was nervous and distressed and wanted to go home. It began to rain, and she said and she said that was why she wanted to leave. She did not react positively to his advances, according to the police investigation. He says as his excitement increased, he wanted to assault her. Williams began talking loudly to try to attract attention. Getreu gave her a judo chop in the neck, so she couldn't talk anymore, he said. Williams started to weep, and he gave her a blow to the face with his fist because he thought when she regained her voice, she would only cry louder. The only reason he struck her was to prevent her from talking, he said. Well, that makes it okay then. Let's see. Williams, who had been standing up to leave, fell to the ground after Getreu struck her. She was about to cry out, so he recovered her face with her jacket and held fast over her mouth with both hands. As Williams began to kick and tried to scream, he held her mouth shut with one hand and grabbed her by her throat with the other, he told police. Williams lost consciousness, but Getreu had the impression she was still breathing. She didn't move at all, and he assaulted her. He kept his hand over her mouth to keep her from crying out if she regained consciousness. A car's headlights passed nearby. He grabbed his jacket and ran away. After returning home, he took his dog for a walk and returned to the area to see if she was still alive. Margaret Williams never regained consciousness. She died on the playing field, police said. Outside the courtroom, Evan Williams said there were new aspects to the crime he hadn't heard before. I feel glad that there's the potential to convict someone who needs to be convicted. Getreu's first wife, Susan Camerata, testified that he told her before they were married that he had killed a girl in Germany. She also said he was convicted of statutory rape after initially being charged with assaulting a teenage girl who was a member of his Explorer Scout troop in 1975. The victim testified in court last week. He served his jail sentence on weekends, she said. Getreu also regularly traveled along the route where Taylor was found, according to testimony from his stepdaughter. Kathy Stone, Camerata's daughter, testified that she first met Getreu when she was 6 years old. The family lived in various locations along the Mid-Peninsula. They lived about 2 years on Montrose Avenue in Palo Alto, then moved to Redwood City for another 2 years while living at an aunt's house in Roberta Drive in Woodside, a quiet area of trees and grassland. Getreu would drive her to school daily. To get to Roberta Drive, one travels on Mountain Home Road, which connects up with Sandhill Road west of Searville Lake. Curry pointed to a map during his testimony. Oh, so he must have just been driving by when he attacked Perlov. That's interesting. Curry pointed to a map during testimony. A green square depicted where Taylor's body was found. Okay, that was Perlov was on the other street. Near Manzanita Way, the route Getreu would have taken daily. Yeah, that's right. That's the Taylor. That's crazy. How far is the location from Sand Hill and Manzanita from Roberta Drive, Stoffer asked. About 2 miles. At the time to travel. But see, but the thing is Taylor, that's not, they didn't find her car. That was one, she was a hitchhiker, that one. I don't know, it's kind of confusing. It seems like he would have driven by Perlov because it was her car was already there. Yeah, here's a, that's him right there. Due to his failing health, the trial was suspended, and Getreu was admitted to a prison hospital to undergo treatment. It resumed in late 2022, but the 78-year-old Getreu was forced to attend court proceedings, this is during COVID, from his hospital room via video link. On January 10th, 2023, he pleaded guilty to the murder of Perlov, admitting that he had killed her after she resisted his attempts to assault her. He was later sentenced to additional term of life imprisonment without the chance of parole. On September 26, 2023, it was reported that Getreu died in prison 4 days prior. No cause of death was specified. Ah, jeez. These guys, monsters. Yeah, all right. Well, there you go, everybody. That's going to do it for me tonight. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys found it interesting. We had Cheryl Moran, thank God. And then we had Chicken Wing, CR, Ozzy Trisha, 42 months, Suz F. Then we had Melissa State, new member. And then John Barrett, Melissa Teal. Then we had Ozzy Trisha gifted a membership, Dixie Hippie, Chicken Wing, Sandy Shirley, Ozzy Trisha, Lord Webb twice, new member, or like 2 months, and then a super chat. Then Trey Joss, CR 123, Dixie Hippie, Lisa Valenzuela. Then I get then Lanky Tor gifted 5. Then Mary Mellon, CR gifted 1. Dixie Hippie, Melissa Teal, Michelle H, and then I gifted 5. I was the last person to support the channel, and that was like, 45 minutes ago. It's so weird how different it is these days, you guys. It's just very disheartening. And then we also had Lisa Valenzuela with 2 coffees. She's the only one that sent in any coffees. And then we had Sandy Shirley on a PayPal. All right. Well, anyways, hope you guys found it interesting. That show tonight was 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we'll be back on tomorrow. All right. So thank you all for being here. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so
better than a stick in the eye, though, you guys. Better than a stick in the eye. Anyways, all right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. That's